What's up? Welcome into your Daily Buckeye Blitz for a Sunday, August 13th, 2023. Don't forget, it is a Sunday. And around here, it's a Sunday fun day, number one priority. Number two priority, we have a TBC Weekly live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, me, Jeff, and Sean, breaking it down. So join us, hit the bell, hit the subscribe button, get notified when we go live every single time. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, also, we do the Buckeye Rush Hour, 4:30 to 5 p.m. So tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here. Today, we're talking camp intel. What are we hearing so far this fall camp? Now that we're about a week and a half into it, there's a lot going on. We've got some guys getting dinged up. Hopefully, not too many long-term issues. So, don't forget, hit the BuckeyeCast.com, get your t-shirts and Buckeye gear there. Everything's 25% off. So check that out. We're doing it just through August, through fall camp. So hurry up. You only got a couple weeks left here and to get your orders in. All right. Fall camp intel. So let's start with Friday. It seemed like we'll start at the end of practice. It seemed like Emeka Egbuka wasn't happy at all with the performance. And from what everybody has said, it was kind of a flat, low energy practice. Ohio State typically doesn't have those. Ryan Day doesn't really allow that, but could be one, you had the media in there plus the Big Ten Network. You know, maybe they just didn't really feel like showing them much. But Emeka made his voice known. He said, quote, he huddled around a group of players he was working with and said, in 2 weeks, we've got a game and we have to go to their place. We're not going to make it to the team up north like this, referring to the sluggish, flat kind of energy level of practice. So Emeka stepping up. I like it. Becoming a leader. This is probably his last year. Barring injury or something crazy, he's probably off to the NFL after this. So it's good for him to step up and throw his weight around a little bit. And the young guys will definitely listen to him, So I'm sure he has the respect of the team and not just the younger players, but everybody. So, all right. So we're going to start with the defensive side of the ball here, and then we'll work on the offense. So right now, let's go DNs. Amari Abor is out indefinitely after surgery. This is his second year in a row for him. It's very concerning when you see this happen to a kid 2 years in a row. So he's facing a long recovery. He had surgery on Tuesday. Again, undisclosed injury. If I find anything out, I've been looking. Nobody has a specific thing. But Ryan Day said he's out a couple months, and that's all he would talk about regarding the injury. So Amari Abor, edge rusher, defensive end, out for a couple months. That sounds to me like a season ender almost. I mean, the season's only 3 months long. So 3 or 4. So Buckeyes need to increase their depth when it comes to pass rushers and defensive ends with this long-term injury. So they gave Arvell Reese some snaps and some reps with the defensive ends at up front, bolster that line. So he's a true freshman working in. He's got the athleticism at 6'3" and the frame to put on more weight even. And he has that natural pass rusher athleticism that you want. He looks more like a DN than a linebacker. And again, he's kind of one of those tweener guys. Think of like a Mitchell Melton. He's going to add that versatility. And we keep saying this over and over when we talk about a lot of these defensive guys, especially like these jack position types and the safeties and stuff like that. When they can do multiple positions and roles, it adds to their value because they're versatile. So then JT and Jack, they're going to carry most of the reps. That's not a question. But then you got Kenyatta showing up. And then you got Caden Curry looking dynamic out there. And then Mitchell Melton, of course, at the jack, CJ Hicks at the jack. So plenty of there's a good solid 2 deep there, but you got to it's going to be tough if we got to get into the third level of our DNs, you got Reese, Joshua Mickens, the freshman. It's kind of unlikely for them to factor into the season or into the rotation, but building depth and a backup plan is necessary. And Coach Johnson knows that, obviously. So it's most likely that Arvell Reese will end up with the DNs eventually. All right, let's look at D tackles. Tyleek was unavailable for practice on Friday. He went down with what looked like a knee injury during some of the first drills over a week ago. And without him, there's going to be more snaps put on Ty Hamilton, Mike Hall Jr. But then Mike Hall looked like he was dealing with an ankle issue. He got rolled up on a little bit. He seemed to be okay, so it's nothing major, but still – just bumps and bruises of fall camp, So I would expect Taiwan Malone, Hero Canoe, those guys to move up in the depth chart as needed. So on offense, let's talk offense here. Mayan Williams, he was out for Friday's practice. So without Mayan, the Buckeyes still have a nice stable of running backs. You got 4 other options that work. And Evan Pryor being healthy is huge. He was turning heads on Friday. So running back room, even with Mayan limited, is not a major hit. Quarterbacks, Kyle McCord, he had his most consistent practice for the Buckeyes on Friday. The rotation continued, between him and Devin Brown, and the competition continues. But we're winding down here in this competition. I think you got one more week to make a decision, and by next Saturday, after next Saturday's scrimmage, they do them every Saturday, you're going to see a decision made. So Kyle seemed to make his case for the starting job, and not just the consistency, but the arm strength to make all the throws, and even had a deep touchdown pass. There are flashes from Devin Brown too. Both these guys are high-end quality quarterbacks, but Devin had a deep completion on a post route to Jaden Ballard, got behind the secondary. But there's just more inconsistency from Devin Brown, kind of that roller coaster that they talk about sometimes, that young players talk about, the up and down inconsistencies, So he had a few wild throws and then had a fumble when trying to extend a play outside the pocket. So those are no-nos. Those are going to be major marks against. So we'll see how things play out here in the last week, most likely of their competition. O-line, a lot going on there. This was really surprising. Ryan Day said on Wednesday was the first full day of pads for us. So, this week is a huge evaluation week because now we're actually playing football with the pads on and everything. He said this week is a defining week for us for sure. And I think coming out of the weekend, we'll have more of an idea where we're at. So the Buckeyes, they've been tinkering with both sides of the line of scrimmage on the tackles. You got Justin Fry experimenting with them. You got Fryer, Jimmy Simmons, Tegra Shabola, and Luke Montgomery, the true freshman, working as your 2 deep on Friday. Jimmy Simmons, Josh Simmons formerly, we're calling him Jimmy now. I'll try and keep you up to speed here. He was working as the first team left tackle. Josh Fryer was working as the first team right tackle. So that's probably where Josh is most comfortable. Then you had Tegra behind Jimmy, working with the 2s at left tackle. He's made significant physical development by losing weight. He's lost like 20 to 30 pounds since he came in. And then Montgomery's running with the 2s at right tackle. He continues to get mentioned in the 2 deep by Ryan Day. So you're 2 deep at the tackles. Simmons, Shabola at the left, Fryer, Montgomery at the right. Day said, quote, "We've been moving some guys around to figure out what the right mixture and combination is going to be. So when you say right tackle, yeah, I like progression we're making. I think that when you look at Josh Fryer, when you look at Tegra, when you look at Jimmy Simmons, and you look at Luke Montgomery, all four of those guys are competing at a high level. Those four guys are competing, and we're trying to figure out what is the best mixture of right and left. So if you remember back in spring, it was the opposite. We had Josh Fryer at the left tackle, and we had the competition between Zen and Tegra at the right tackle. That's before Jimmy Simmons came in. So now if they flip those tackles, it's going to be interesting to see if that's okay, if that's going to work out and how they work in and mesh with everybody else on the O-line. And center, we do still have a competition going there. Carson Hinsman seems to be still the leader there. You got transfer Vic Cutler. He's in there. And then you got Jacob James, probably the third man in. Ryan Day said it's Carson and Vic, really. Jacob is in there too, but I think that the competition has heated up between Vic and Carson right now. He said, I think Carson's has been good. The more reps he gets, the better he's going to have to continue to get better every day. And I think for both those guys, I think this week is going to be critical to figure out where they're at. So Vic Cutler working with the twos, Carson Hinsman with the ones. So those are the big highlights for this week. We'll do more of this throughout the week as they have more practice and media sessions. So keep it locked in here. Hit subscribe. We'll have all the Ryan Day press conferences, player interviews, and everything across the board. So appreciate you guys. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.